Women have inspired men for centuries, and that is why the saying goes, behind every successful man, there is a woman. But it looks like men are not stepping up to the plate in terms of providing leadership in the home, as described by Bishop Colby in this viral message that went all over social media. Take a listen and we'll be right back.
Eka konkomu anakashi baka putura to onyoni kamba no putura yo chilise na mpundire chifana kulandana no when you are a man you are supposed to talk. When you are a man you are supposed to exercise your authority. We need to see men arise in our society. Not nanguna urufyanya uletutuma yo nashia no be a man.
Joining me today on Titandala, my name is Charlie. Thank you so much for having us right here. I have Bishop Colby from Hosanna Everywhere Mega Church. Bishop, thank you so much for coming to the show.
It's my pleasure.
I've been looking forward to this interview ever since I actually listened to that viral audio that went everywhere.
Yes,
and you have been a victim of attacks from left, right, and center.
That's true.
What has been the main concern over what people heard in that broadcast that you had?
I think they heard something new, which maybe for a while we've never been talking about.
Yeah.
Which was that a man must take his place. Every man, as far as God is concerned, when man was designed in Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2, God put all the responsibility on man. Man was to name the animals, man was to tend the garden, man was to cultivate the garden, and man was to take care of everything.
Yeah.
God never made any statement to a woman. He never talked to a woman. In the picture of God, a woman was under the responsibility of a man. God came to talk to a woman in Genesis chapter 3 and 4 when a woman caused the man to fail. And the statement that God spoke to a woman was, "What have you done?" That's all.
Yeah.
In other words, God and the woman have nothing to say. God speaks to a man, and the man must take care of his woman. And I love that protocol, and that protocol has never been taught in churches or in places. But the reality of that message was, a man must take his leadership role.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
And over the years, there's been this misconception, I don't know if it's a misconception, but this ideology to say the Bible undermines the woman's role in terms of the modern society. How would you get that?
And that's totally a lie. The Bible does not do that. The way God designed man and a woman was this. A man and a woman, God designed them as one.
Right.
He never designed them as two. This is why when we say the man is the head, it doesn't mean the man is on top. It talks about the man is responsible over the woman.
Right.
Because every village needs a headman. Every constituency needs a counselor. We cannot all be both at the same level. So the Bible just tries to tells us a picture of a man being the one responsible. Responsibility is for a man. A woman must follow the man. Right. So in other words, it's not like man is greater or higher. We are equal, because a woman is like a self-contained of a man. That's why when God designed a woman, he did not go to an animal or the air or the ground or the trees. He went in the rib of a man, picked the rib, and said the functions of the rib in the man is the function the rib must do outside in the form of a woman.
Right.
So if the rib was taking care of my heart, my liver, my pancreas, my esophagus, as it was happening on my body, it should do now from outside. So I think there's just a misconception, because the place of a woman is very clear in the Bible. She is an assignment in a man's life. Yet a man has an assignment from God to fulfill God's vision. So both the man and the woman have nothing belonging to them. A woman is an asset to a man. A man is an asset to God. And so God uses both to fulfill his goals.
Right.
Yes, please.
And for most parts of human history, women have reason to fight for equality in terms of human rights and all of this here. Do you feel like maybe the message in the Bible sort of just creates this imbalance? Because a lot of people misquote and misinterpret to say a man is actually...
and actually, that is a misquoting of Scripture. Many people who misquoted Scripture have used it against it. But also, my brother, we have to go back to our tradition.
Right.
Our tradition as Zambians or traditions as African, a woman was already dominated.
Right.
So it is that domination that they want to put in the Bible. But the Bible does not dominate over a woman. You see, even in the Jewish culture, they say the woman shouldn't talk, a woman shouldn't do this, a woman should cover her face. But when Jesus came, all that changed.
Right.
Because the Bible says, woman, don't speak in a church. You let your husband speak at home, but under submission, which changes the whole story. Because the word submission simply means, if I allow my wife to speak, let her speak. But if I just say, my wife, don't say anything for now, then that's the way it is. And also, every woman will not speak her mind. She will speak her mind based on the man that she's connected to. Because she knows that I am actually propagating my husband's vision. So if a woman is just speaking anyhow, she's actually going to embarrass herself, because she will have no supporter at the end of the day. So I think the misconception is with men who want to dominate a woman. But the Bible does not dominate a woman.
Right.
He doesn't. In the Bible, we've seen a lot of women who are very entrepreneur, who are very, very involved, who are doing greater things, like when Ruth and Esther. These are women, but they rose above. And so I don't know where people are getting the concept that a woman is useless or is lower. No, it's not true.
Yeah.
The Bible is straight clear about this.
Yeah.
But the only concern I think I have is that we must go in Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2 to purely pick the truth about a male and a female, because the Bible says God created them male and a female, and he called them one.
Yeah.
So I don't know where people are getting all this, because for me, even when I hear that, oh no, World Women's Day, or women, for me it's like, we'll let them do it. But then the truth of the matter is that this world is run by women.
Exactly.
Yeah, because women have a very strong influence in a man. God himself put that influence.
Yeah, that's the reason why every man wakes up in the morning to go do what he has to do, because there's a woman
Exactly. And you see, my point exactly in that video, or the whole preaching, was that a man, when you get married, know that you've sold your soul to a woman. Because everything I work for, everything I do, the money I make, the cars I have, the houses I have, everything that I build up is for my wife. This is why we have a situation where families tend to jump in when a man dies, because they want to fight the reality. The reality is, if I die, my children should not even miss my absence. My wife should not, there's this concept of saying a happy widow. That is biblical. That is biblical.
Yeah. So now, Bishop, I've gone to a lot of weddings these days, and I think at every Christian wedding I've been to, there's always a pastor presiding there. But at the same time, now more than ever in history, more marriages are failing. What do you think is causing that now?
All right. What is causing marriages to fail? First and foremost, it's men, not women. Because in the beginning, God created a man, and he gave the man responsibilities.
Yeah.
Now, we have, when man fell in Genesis chapter 3 and chapter 4, we kind of have failed to differentiate between the marriage in just Genesis chapter 1 and 2 and the marriage in just Genesis chapter 3 and 4. When Jesus was walking, somebody questioned him and said, Master, should a man divorce his wife? And Jesus said, in the beginning, it was not so. Which is the beginning? Genesis 1 and 2. Not Genesis 3 and 4. And so he says, in the beginning it wasn't so. When God created man and female, he created them both male and female. I created them as one. In other words, the concept there is that when God created man and woman, he created them to be one.
Yes.
But then, meaning, if we have to find a true marriage or definition of marriage, we must go in Genesis 1 and 2. In Genesis 1 and 2, man was not looking for a wife. It was God who looked for a wife for man. So the Bible tells us man was busy naming cattle, was busy walking around tending the garden and multiplying. Then God in heaven said, it is not good for man to be alone. It is not man who said it's not good for me. But in Genesis chapter 3 and 4, it is man who started looking for a woman. And many men are marrying because they are on heat. They want someone to sleep with. They want someone to wash for them. They want someone to cook for them. But in Genesis 1 and 2, it wasn't so. A woman came in man's life as a helpmeet.
Right.
Meaning, it's me who should actually show her how to clean. When I married my wife, I said, honey, I know this is our language. I've taught you a lot of things. But I need to teach you what I want. Because they've taught you what they do to their husbands. For example, they taught you, nikangia na sitting room yanga, uzinkala pampasa. Me, I don't want impasa mnyumba mwanga. I bought those furniture for you.
To sit there.
Exactly, to sit there. If I come in my house and we have to cook, and I have to show you that in a vinko walazini funava tomato. Even having go so and so. It's my responsibility. So, but it's from that perspective where now marriage has been released or handed over to the government, sociologists, psychologists, feminines, television personality, the Kardashians, these guys, and they are trying to portray marriage in their own way. But it wasn't so. Marriage, in the eyes of God, a man must be busy in his vision. And then when he's busy in his vision, a woman will show up in his vision, who supports him, who stands with him, who's there to actually make sure she knows that Papeve, he needs to drink some water. Papeve, his shoes are not okay. Papeve, and this woman, he hasn't even fallen in love with her, but she understands him. Because I will say something that has shocked a lot of people. Marriage is not love. Not at all.
Explain that.
I will. Marriage is not love. Marriage is knowledge. Let me explain. Let me go deeper. You see, I love my cell phone. Have I married my cell phone? No. I love my car. Have I married my car? No. But you see, I love my wife, and then because I loved her, it took me from level of love to a level of knowledge. And it is the level of knowledge I have about marriage that has even kept our marriage. Because if I love her and I'm abusing her, she won't stay. If I love her and I'm hurting her, she won't stay. So you have to understand that the concept today of why marriages are ending is because they claim they love each other, yet they are sleeping out. They claim they love each other, she's not kneeling before him. They claim they love each other, they are fighting and insulting. But there has to be knowledge. A man must know, what is my role in marriage? My role is to protect my wife, cultivate my wife, help my wife, lift her. If she doesn't know English, let me take her to night school. If she doesn't know how to drive, let me get her a driver's license. I need to upgrade my wife so that my children are able to be taken care of, because the person who will take care of my children is my wife.
Right.
So knowledge will keep our marriage, not love.
Yeah.
Love will always be there. But knowledge is more important than the love in marriage. Because many people who divorce, I will assure you, they divorce because they love each other. They come, they meet again. Again, they make love, but they are divorced. Again, they talk, no, I want to see my children.
So these are two different things. There's love, then there's marriage.
There's marriage. This is why many women are after a wedding instead of marriage. She's so busy buying the best wedding dress, preparing the best venue, forgetting that out of all that, there's marriage. Wedding is an event. Marriage is a lifetime. So let's invest in marriage rather than in the wedding. It's like romance and marriage. Romance, those are feelings, and they fade away, my brother. What remains is marriage, where now your mind is in. You make a choice to love her even when she's not looking the way she was looking when she was 18. Yes, please.
Right. I wanted to come to the question of the role of a woman in marriage, which I think you've sort of touched on. What is the wife, the friends, and the family?
Okay.
My wife's friends and family, what is their red line when it comes to issues to do with our marriage between the two of us? Where do we draw the line to say, okay, this, no?
All right. According to God's plan, when a woman gets married, she becomes the husband's companion, 24/7. First and foremost, she needs to cut off from friends.
Like completely?
Yeah, I'll come to that. She needs to cut off from friends. In fact, let's use the word completely, because her best friend becomes the husband. So if a woman gets married or a man gets married, and this is what is creating problems, because we don't necessarily disconnect. I still want the links with my guys. She still wants the links with her friends. Marriage will not work. Marriage only works when she disconnects completely, he disconnects completely, they become the best of friends. Then these others become chancers, so that she can't open up her problems with either her relatives or her friends. Now, you have to remember, my brother, we are talking about marriage according to Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. Adam and Eve, when they were created, they were the best of friends. But because of the busy schedule of Adam, he would go and leave her alone. The serpent came in. If he was always there, or take her and say, my wife, let's go together as I name animals. Let's go together as we do this. The serpent wouldn't have a chance. So here in our natural world, the serpent happens to be our family relatives and our friends. Because when I'm not home and my friend comes, hey, Mlam, where is my friend? Achokapo, Mlam, Mpenko. They start chatting. Women by nature, the way God has designed them, they follow a certain pattern. And the Bible calls them, they says they are like a weaker vessel. Not that they are weak, but they are like a weaker vessel. There are things that my wife wants to hear me say, not my friend say. For instance, if she puts on a nice dress, she doesn't want other men to tell her she looks pretty. She wants me to say it. Now, because I am busy cultivating and doing other works, I forget to tell her.
Right.
My friend who has come to visit says, already her feelings goes, because women are moved by what they hear. Men are moved by what they see. So she will hear this serpent say, you look sexy. You look beautiful. Those words will start slowing her down. In the end, she'll find herself finding solace in that person. So, where friendship and family is concerned, the line is a decision that the husband and the wife must make, where you draw a line. And if you are in marriage where it's Genesis 1 and 2, I don't see any reason why I should tell my family the issues in my house. Neither should she tell her family. We have to sort these things together because we are in this together.
Yeah.
Now, here's the danger of sharing these issues. We will fight. I'll tell my family. Then we'll reconcile. I won't go back to my family and say we reconciled. So my family is at that stage saying, but he came to tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so many marriages have been destroyed by family because family is left with an issue which you have not gone back to tell them.
After you've solved it.
Exactly. And that becomes a problem. So I think the limit is that you have to draw a limit where you say, these matters will never tell our families. Yeah. These matters will stay for us, deserve this thing of ourselves. Then when it comes to friends, I think with friends, that's where the biggest mistake is. Because when you get married, find other women to be your friends who are actually telling you their experiences, not your age mates. Because your age mates, some of them have problems in their marriages. And they wish that you can go through what they are going through. And as a result, a wise woman stays away from friends. She just completely cuts off. Because those friends have got their own weaknesses, which eventually spills over to you. This is why today we've got women drinking, women smoking, which was never heard of. And most women started drinking and smoking, not because they wanted, they saw the friend drink. Then they became, and now they have got problems in the home. So I think the limit is the husband and the wife must draw a very strong line to say, hi, at church fellowship, or if they have got some stock fail or where to go or kitchen party, they know their limits. Right. Because the more you allow somebody to walk in, you are done.
Right.
They will just ruin whatever you are building.
Yeah, but we've heard a lot of issues where women have come out of abusive relationships and they've gone out, and it has come to attention that a lot of men are actually misusing their powers to discipline their wives. True. Which brings me to a question: what is a man's red line when it comes to discipline the wife? Okay,
first and foremost, let me look at marriage, Genesis chapter 3 and chapter 4, because if you find someone is being beaten, they are fighting, is being abused, it simply is a result of the Genesis chapter 3 and 4, which is the marriage after the fall. Because first and foremost, their foundation, one, they got married because he saw the hips and the lips, and this is in Demupa. And the lady saw the car and the phone and says, Inuamene. So already the foundation is damaged. Now, the Bible says, what the Lord has joined together, let no man break asunder. What it means, that statement simply means that not all marriages are brought by God. Some marriages are made by people. Some women get married to a man because he's been transferred or is fired. So I end up with and she's like, so I'll get married to this man. I'll get pregnant for this man. And there are all these reasons why some of the people got married. The wrong motives. For me, those are not marriages. If a man is beating you, hitting you harder, that is not your marriage. That's not your man. Your man cannot beat you. Let him show if he can beat himself or cut himself with a knife. Because your wife is your body. So if you are beating your wife, it's a sign that what you are beating is not your wife. So walk away. Right. Walk away. In fact, I'm emphatic and serious about it. In some marriages, what we call divorce is actually not divorce. We call people who came together because of just infatuation, and we think it's marriage. Yet it's not marriage. In such a relationship, just walk away. There's no way a man would sleep outside agona kumkazi winangu, and then you are telling no bakabwera mwaikile manzi, and then manzi haya mbasambisa osawafunsa. A man who sleeps outside of his own wife's house to a girl, my sister, that is not your husband. Your husband can never do that to you.
Right.
No, he can't. That is a guy who got infatuated by your lips and then married you and then is regretting. He would rather spend 8 hours with another woman in another bed.
Yeah.
Your husband can't do that. What can do that is a man who is not yours. But when you go deeper spiritually, there are some cases where a man is coming from the family where his father probably was a womanizer or what. We call them spiritual altars. Which still more, as a woman, you have the peace and say, this is my husband. Why is he doing this to me? And then a man who discovers that he's got these altars in his family, he needs to be all open enough to say, my wife, I have a problem.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't ask for forgiveness, he doesn't say I'm sorry, he doesn't show remorse, he doesn't buy you nothing, ever since you got married, underwear, and he sleeps out, that's an automatic, you just walk away, go back to where you came from, go where you lost God, and then find your own life.
Absolutely.
Yes, because there's no way. Your own lover, your own body can kill you. No, no.
Yeah. So now, when two people come together, they
Yeah.
become one, and
Yes,
of
please.
course, but obviously, when it comes to decision making in a home,
Yeah.
a man should take precedent. Like, but what's a man's limit when it comes to decision making in the house?
Okay, what normally happens when it comes to decision in the house is that you talk about certain things, but here's what God has done. God has invested the future of the home in a man.
Right.
My role as a man is to make sure that I am seeing 20 years ahead of our family. And the way God has designed women, they don't see 20 years ahead of them. A woman is comfortable, nifuna nyumba, pogona. In case you died, my husband, we should have a home. She's just talking about protection and security. But as a man, I see beyond the house. I see sustenance. I see grandchildren. I see great-great-grandchildren as a man. And I need to have that view. This is why sometimes when I'm making a choice or decision, there are some things I can ask my wife and say, honey, I want us to buy this plot. But then I need to hear her out. And if she can't see my point of view, I'll dilly-dally a bit, but probably buy it because I know I have enough. Buy it and just wait. Because at the end of the day, sometimes a woman will answer you based on her insecurities, not based on the future. And that's the difference with us men and women. And that is how God designed us. You see, a husband is like Jesus. The church is like a wife. Jesus has the vision and the purpose where he wants to take the church. The church doesn't know. The church just follows. And so in a marriage, when a man is in Genesis chapter 1 and 2, he has a vision and the woman knows that this man has got a passion for his children. In fact, a clever woman will see a man's heart the way he relates with the children.
Right.
That's where you know that, but when a man is not concerned about the children, he just does things on his own, then you know there's a problem. Ali upana kwa taba na 4. Ayashita moto kashita BMW 2 doors. The woman knows that this is a problem. How can he get a BMW 2 doors? Then the woman must know that in some of the decisions, let me jump in and make some things. But when you see a man in buying a cash because he's thinking of the family and the children, you know that, okay, we are going somewhere. You know, you see a husband, DSTV, you know that there's a problem here. So even women need to engage in thinking and realizing, what kind of a man am I married to? Is he someone we can make proper decisions or not? Absolutely. Because in that regard, a man must be on the upper hand to make decisions that does not just help him, but also encompass the wife and the children.
Great.
So you can't draw a line, but it has to be inclusive.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
All right. We're still getting more nuggets from Bishop Colby from Hosanna Everywhere Mega Church. He's right here on Titandala. We'll be right back after the break. Stay with us. Engage with us on our social media platforms. We are at QTV Zambia. You can actually check us out on Facebook as well as follow our YouTube channel right there, and you'll be able to collaborate and, of course, join in the conversation. Use the hashtag Titandala with Charlie. I'm with Pastor Colby right here from Hosanna Everywhere Mega Church, and we're talking everything marriage and relationships right now. Now, Bishop, I want to talk about something that is really affecting, especially a lot of single people right now. There's a lot of people that would want to get into marriage, and some of them decide to stay out because they see they don't get any inspiration from marriages these days because they tend not to last so long. What are some of the things that a single man should look for in a woman they want to settle with? And what are some of the things that a single man should look for in a woman that they want to settle with in terms of marriage?
All right. There's what I call, are you ready for marriage? It's a test.
Right.
In this test, you start realizing, first of all, you look at your age, you look at your maturity, because age and maturity are two different things. Age is the number of years you're accumulating on earth, which is not a choice. It just comes. Whether you like it or not, you're growing.
Yes.
Then maturity is a decision where you say, nakula manji, let me settle, let me stop this. Now, from that perspective, let me start with a woman. A woman must be very careful because there are about 7 types of men. And she needs to know that these types of men will come in her life, whether she likes it or not.
Right.
They just come and they mutate. They come in different men, but God opens her mind. Number 1, there's a man I call a lesson man. A lesson man is a man who comes in a woman's life. When a lesson man comes, all he comes to do is teach you a lesson. If you're not careful, you think you have arrived, he will impregnate you and he will run away. And then you will suffer raising that child alone. He's left you a lesson. A lesson man will impregnate you when you're in grade 7 or grade 8. And then he will tell you, I love you with all my heart. Right. But then once he messes you up, you're done. And then you learn from, and many women have settled with a lesson man, not knowing that a lesson man just came to teach you a lesson.
He's a passerby.
He's a passerby. Number 2, there's another man that I call a player. A player is this guy who comes in your life, he loves you, he's a fantasy guy. He knows where to touch you. He knows what to say. He knows how to wipe your tears. He knows where to kiss you. He knows how much you need. He knows the right words at the right time. But this guy doesn't exist because he's got many women he does that with.
Wow.
And he doesn't stay in one person's life. He has no time frame. He will be with you like for 3 months or 2 months. Immediately he makes love to you, he stops calling you. And then he'll tell you, I'm a busy man, you know. I'm a busy man, you know. And then you feel guilty, not knowing that actually it's him. He just came to play you and he's gone.
And you remain with all this fantasy of what he showed you.
What he showed you. And that guy is found on television. He's not there in real life.
It's not me.
He's not there. He's an actor. He's James Bond.
Right.
You know? And so many women, unfortunately, love James Bond. They want this guy, but he's never there. He will never be there. So once he comes in your life, the first 3 months, he will shower you with presents, with flowers. Once he takes you to bed, he's gone.
Yeah.
And so that is another.
And women seem to fall back to the same stuff over and over. But why is that?
It's because they live in the figment of the imagination where they have not decided to mature. Because it's a decision to mature where you tell yourself, I need to settle now. I need to be quiet. I need to find my own man. Yeah. Then there's another kind of a guy, we call him a good man. A good man is a man who will marry you when he comes in your life. He is a moralist, if I can use that word.
Yeah.
All he comes to in your life to do is that, uleke kuvala my trousers. Uleke, I don't want this type of hair.
Yeah.
I don't want this. This guy is not your husband. This guy just comes in your life to help you put your morals upright. He will leave.
Wow.
He will leave. He won't stay with you. And once you see a moralist, wait. Give him a lot of time. He comes to change your life because he wants to form this dummy of a woman out of you.
Yeah.
He tells you, no, I don't love those shoes. And sometimes the moralist won't even be buying the dresses for you, but he's telling you, also exactly. You know, something like that.
But are his intentions right?
His intentions are that he wants to make a person. And so his intention is okay, but you can never last with such a man because he becomes a domineering factor in a relationship.
I see.
Yeah, he's the one who will actually, even the way you smile, will tell you, don't laugh like that, laugh like this. Don't eat like that, eat like this. Don't walk like that, walk. So he will literally change the whole system that you're wired, and then you'll be a fake. Because you'll be trying to prove to him that I want you to marry me.
So, which you are not.
Yes. And then the guy you make a small mistake and it just drops. This is just a good guy. Then there's another guy you have to watch out for. I call him a spiritual guy. A spiritual guy is a useless guy. He's useless because the spiritual guy... I
thought you were going to support him.
No. He's a useless guy because a spiritual guy will be in the choir or be the keyboard man or the dramatist.
And this is the one who even
I'm telling you, he leads praise and worship, and God comes down and people love him. But this guy is too spiritual that he's living in a spiritual world. He needs a spiritual wife, not a normal human being. Because this particular person will be in the mountain from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, praying, seeking God.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to be eating at home? Who's going to be providing for you?
Yeah.
So this guy is so useless, and many women fall for a spiritual guy, because even many men, they fall for a spiritual woman. It's the same principle. They are like, she sings nice. You know, she dresses well in church. You know, she's a good usher. You know, she's a good... And then when you marry her, you discover that you're waiting for her in bed. She's busy praying.
Yes.
Doing tongues. Yes. And then you're like, my friend, me, I'm waiting for you in bed. What are you doing out there? You know, because it's so spiritual. Not only that, you discover you want to eat, she's busy encouraging or praying or Bible studying and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so the spiritual person is a person you need to watch and stay away from. They have not yet matured.
Right.
No, they haven't. And then there's another one I call a balanced man. A balanced man is a guy. He understands that there are many things in life. With a woman, she's not just a social being, she's also a sexual being, she's also a mental being, she's also a spiritual being. And so he tries as much as he can to balance in all these 4 areas. And this guy, what normally happens is that when he comes in your life, he wants to marry you, but the way you know that this guy is for real, he talks to you about his future and he adds you in the future. When talking to you, say, you know, when we go to, you know, we'll go to America together, you know, when we go buy a house, when we, you know, he quickly switches and prepares his mind that you're part of his life.
You're always in his plans.
Yes, you're always in his plans. You're always in his picture. But when he just, I want to buy a car, I want to do, you know that this is going nowhere. You just have to stay. So every woman, when you want to get married, you check for those things. And I'm telling you, the way you check for some of these things is that you need to be very sensitive. When he's gone, he sends a text message. You call him. You go to church maybe together. You pray. Hear his language. Language reveals who a person is. Because in language, you know that this man, we can stay together. Try to deliberately delay, be late for an appointment. See how he reacts. If he will shout at you, you know that, will we make it? Because there are certain things a woman must do periodically just to assess her position in the man's life.
Yes.
But if she doesn't do that, she just gets married, then she's in trouble. You see, the man also must know his role. A man must be also watchful of almost the same kind of women, but I have a different view for the man. Number one, a man must be very careful of a God digger.
Yes.
A God digger is this woman who always talks about money. Every time. Everything is connected to money. I am sick, so I want money. I am this, so I want money. When you're about to go to separate, by the way, I don't have transport money. By the way, a woman who does that, and when you give her money for 6 months or 1 year, and she has not even bought you a tie or just a handkerchief, then you know that this is a God digger. She's just using me. A woman who cannot explain how she used the money, that is a God digger. The other kind of a woman every man must be careful with is another woman I call a fantasy woman. A fantasy woman is a woman who is more, but she's just too much. She's got a Brazilian hair costing 1,008, yet she stays in a house here 180 kwacha per month. And then when you escort her, she always tells you, I stay in Salama Park. But you've never seen exactly where she comes from. Because once you drop her in Salama Park, she gets on another minibus now going Kwakanyama. Now you know that this is a fantasy woman. You don't need such a woman because and when you are with her, you need to know where do you stay. Let her introduce you to some of her relatives. Then you know that, okay, this is the kind of a woman. Right. Not only that, every man should also watch out for a woman that I know, that I like to call a psychopath woman. A psychopath woman is a woman, you fall in love with her 11 o'clock. Chama 12, she's asking you for rentals. You know that there's something wrong. You fall in love with her Chama 12. 3 minutes later, she's your friend, sending a friend request on Facebook. You know that something is not right. Everything you post, she posts. Something, she comments. you know something is not right.
Right.
It's like now she's following you. Everything you say, and then this is a type of a woman who will show a picture to people as if she knows you very much when actually she's just come in your life.
Right.
A psychopath is very dangerous. Every man needs to stay away from such a woman. A woman, she's chatting with your mother. And you're like, when did I introduce you to my mother? What are you doing at my mother's house? You know, and so all that.
She knows all your sisters,
Yes, she knows
everybody.
Exactly. She knows your uncle. You find that by your grandpa's house. And you're thinking, what are you doing here? No, I came to see a go-go. And you're like, no, this is not how. And you need to stay away from that.
Yeah.
But then there's a woman, a virtuous woman from the word of God. A virtuous woman is a woman who trusts you. Even when you are lying to her, she takes your lies, but the way she looks at you, you know that she knows I'm lying. But she doesn't fight with you.
Yeah.
Because she knows this man, she starts speaking, I need to help him, he's a liar. I need to help him, he's a cheater. I need to help him with this. I need to help him. She uses your weakness as a book of what she would want to do with you in the future. Yeah. You know that this is a wife material. Because not every woman is a wife material. Because there are women who don't even, like you are doing journalism and you work in this field. You need a woman who will understand your timetable, that you've got awkward timetable. Right. For you, there's no 17 to 08 to 17. You might be caught 02 and say, hey, there's a riot somewhere, go and cover it. Yeah. And now if you marry a woman who now starts crying, hey, no, you can't do this, then you know you can't. Let's look at many men who go for war, soldiers, and so on. You need to find the right woman who supports your career. If you don't find her, then just wait. Keep waiting. When you look at Eve, when she was brought into Adam, Adam looked at her and said, wow. And the other thing that you know that this is my wife, let me be quick, the last one I want to share, is when she's very willing to change her name to your surname. She wants identity with you. Eve did not name herself. It was Adam who said, wow, woman, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. She will be called woman. Her name will be Eve. It is the husband who named her. Many women today, ni Mary Zulu Mutare. She can't throw away the Zulu, her father's name, because she doesn't want to be identified with you 100%.
Right.
And it's a challenge we have today. So a woman who says, Inena, you are my husband, she's even proud to carry your name. If she does something good, it's your name that rises. If she does something stupid, it's your name that it also goes in the mud. So you would tell and say, this one is my future.
Absolutely.
Yes, because she wants to carry that name. And she knows that if you died, your name will be on her name and the estate will be safe in her hands. But if she's like using her father's name and your name, it's very easy when you die to drop your name. And everything will switch and come back in her name. Yeah. There's no marriage there. Yeah. It's an investment.
All right.
Yes, please.
There's this thing now where people tell you now, a lot of people are single these days, and they'll tell you the reason why you're single is because you meet a lot of wrong people because you look in the wrong places. Okay. Where does a single guy, single lady go to look for somebody they want to? Which places do we look?
That's a very tricky question. If you asked me that question 5 years ago, I would have said in church. But no. But no. Even in church, there are some women, after our seven, they've done all that they want to do in the world. Yeah. Then it's chalo chamukanga. I'll just be born again. And they'll come to church. Sometimes they're not even seriously born again. All she's after is to get married. Yeah. Because we've seen a lot of brothers who've made such a mistake. This sister comes in and he marries her. Not knowing that maybe she's sick. Not knowing that maybe she's really, escapaded everywhere there. And then all she needs is to settle. And then when she comes, you find her, you marry her, and then you start regretting. But this is what I believe in if you want to be married. Number one, be consistent with what God has called you or your career. Be busy. Then be in church. At work where you are, because what God does is that a person who's supposed to marry or you're going to marry, God deliberately has put them around your vicinity. They are around your vicinity. They are not very far away. They are somewhere near. They are either in church, they are either anywhere. Some men have gone in a bar and picked the best woman from the bar.
Wow.
Yes, they have. Some men have married prostitute. She picks that prostitute. After picking the prostitute, goes home. And when they went home, the prostitute realizes and says, this is the last time I'll ever do what I've been doing. I'll be worshiping this man. And here's another experience I've noticed. A woman who's been married before, or went to a man, they lived, they cohabited, and then they divorced.
Yeah.
After going through the storm of saying, hey, I'm single, when she meets a man, she takes care of a man better than a single woman who's never been married before.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she knows she's got an experience of how it feels to be a single. She has experienced how it feels to raise your son or your daughter alone. And so when she finds a man, she's like, this is my king. I'll worship this man. I'll keep worshiping this man. I'll keep worshiping this man. And this is why it is of a paramount importance that when it comes to finding the right one, you must pray. You must allow God to lead you. You must allow God to actually open your spiritual eyes as a single person.
Yeah.
Now, here's the danger I want to say, my brother. A single person must be very careful to lose their singleness, because the highest price God has given man is singleness.
Yeah.
Once you marry, kwasira, you are gone. You are now a divorcee, or you are now whatever the name, that a widow or a widower. You will never be single again. This is why you don't have to mess your singleness. Make sure when you find a person, in fact, I tell people, date as much as you can, but don't fall in love.
So I can date like 1, 2, 3, and make a choice from...
You can actually do this. You date this person. You see, when you date 2, 3 at a time, you're going to mess your mind. So the best is find someone, date them for like 3 months. Let's go out, let's go to church. Because there are some litmus tests that you can do. Sometimes you just lie and say, you know what? They found me with a liver problem. So they want someone who can match my blood. And I think you can match my blood. Can you share your liver with me? Those are litmus tests that you use. Oh yes, those are litmus, and
Wow.
you will know that this person loves me or they don't love me at all.
Yeah.
There are some of the things that we do, like you say, oh, I've got a case at the police. They need 5,000 kwacha. I don't know where I'll get it. Not that you want the money, but you want to see.
You want to see
the
how.
day she will come with the 5,000, you say, no. I sorted out that problem. Take your money. You know that this person is concerned about my future.
Right.
But when you tell her the problems, or you tell him the problems, and he doesn't seem to care about your issues, you tell him I'm sick, he can't drive you to the hospital, he can't pay for medical bills, you know something is not right. And so what I feel is that when it comes to singlehood, you really need to take time to be single.
Yeah.
Take time. Don't rush. Many people have rushed and they've crashed. And also, there's a point that you made which I want to emphasize. Marriage, I feel there's need for training before marriage. And at our church, that is one of the things we do every once in a month. I do a lot of teachings in that sense, because I've discovered that once we prepare people for marriage, look, to be a journalist, you went for college. To be a doctor, you go for 9 years. To be a teacher, you go for college. Everything. To be a pastor, I was in vacation for years for me to be a pastor. So how can I marry without training? Because marriage is an institution.
Yeah.
And I love the word institution. The Bible uses institution. You know, an institution is University of Zambia.
Absolutely. It's got hierarchy,
yes,
it's got
college,
departments.
yes, all those. And then there's this university. And so a husband and wife, that is an institution. There are a lot of things involved. You know, you have to literally be Superman, and she needs to be Superwoman. You actually need to be a father, she needs to be a mother. You have to be a man, she needs to be a woman. You have to be the manager, she needs to be, you have to be a go-getter, she has to be a goalkeeper. Whatever you bring home. So there's a lot of functionalities in there. So there's need for training.
Yeah.
And in our country, we are having a lot of divorces and so on because we have allowed emotions to go before knowledge. Think about it like in the thing you played.
Yes.
This is a soldier. He went Kulilai to train, a policeman. He's been trained to control his emotions as an officer. He's been trained to shoot. He's been trained a lot of things. And then he goes home, he finds the woman he loves is going out with another friend. He turns the gun and shoots himself. That's how deep this is. So we need more knowledge than emotions in this issue.
Right.
If the doctors were not trained to handle their emotions, they would have been crying with the patients. Oh, you're going to die. Look, but they don't cry. They look like everything is okay. Look at the pilot. When the plane is about to, they go, it's just a turbulence. Everybody, they are so calm because they've been trained. In marriage, we are not trained. We go with all these.
So where do we get this training, though?
We get the training from the men of God, because marriage belongs to God. So because it belongs to God, you need to find a pastor that you can sit down and talk to. It's unfortunate, and it is really sad for me to say, because even in the church we have a problem now. Pastors have problems with their wives. They are divorcing, they are fighting, and so on.
Yeah.
But you need to find a pastor, you need to find a man of God who you can go to and submit and say, I want to marry this woman. For the next few months, I want us to be coming. You help us, you teach us, you talk to us. And then the pastor, and for me, one of the things that I've done, which has really helped me, is that I've engaged my wife. I don't do this alone. Yeah. We do it with my wife, because I want my wife, where I'm going wrong, she's like, honey, na change. And I tell her, Apana, you will change. Because in doing that, because nobody trained us. We went into this, and then now it's like job on training. Now, to avoid what we went through, we now train other people. Right. We now help other people. We now, and it's a program. Every month, we run a couples meeting. Every month in that church. This will never stop. Eventually, we might even do 2 months. And for us, the program of where you're getting married and then the aunties coming to teach you, we leave that to the family. My wife is a full-time Alangizi. She takes full responsibility of every girl that is getting married. She brings them at our house, teaches them for 3, 4, 5 days, explains to them, calls some of the elderly women also to do an input, so that what happens is that we avoid divorce at all cost. Right. Because I've married over hundreds of couples, and I've only seen 3 divorces.
Wow.
And that is because we take a lot of time to explain and tell people this is for life. It's not a joke. Because many people take marriage like it's a joke. Yes, please.
Absolutely. So, like in the audio that we just played at the beginning,
yes,
there's a part, and I think that's the last part we're going to touch. There's a part where you talk about men taking a step to be the authority in the house, and people actually misquoted you. What causes a man? What causes a woman to actually step up in the house that a man now starts looking like maybe they're the ones that are the wife?
The reason is very simple. Most of us men have stopped being men. One of the things about men, we've got a very bad ego, very bad pride. Sometimes when we talk to our wives and they are not answering, we tend to shut down. Now this is not, it's a reflex that God has put in man. We shut down. Now when we shut down, we wait for the right time to talk. Right. Now sometimes our right time becomes a wrong time for the woman to listen. So she shouts at you and you feel efyaba. So we create that efyaba. And for years, that has been created in many homes. Efyaba. And men have taken back row. Yes. And so what has happened is that there's a vacancy in most of the homes. There's no father. The fathers have stepped back. The wife is waiting for the father to step up. So in waiting, the wife becomes the head. She's the one making decisions. She's the one saying, oh, number 2 ala kuka. So they ask, oh, turekukila pesa. You know, the wife is the one doing that. The wife is the one paying bills. The wife is the one taking care of children. When there's a PTA meeting, it's the wife who goes there. The husband doesn't go. But then in that clip, I was teaching and I'm saying that the reason why I said that is because men have moved out of their place, and the Bible requires a man to take his office. We must become the man. What is a man? A man is the authority in the house, the head in the house, the responsible one in the house, the mature one in the house. We've left it to our women, and then we are complaining. This is why you discover that because we have let go, we leave our wives in a crisis when we die, because there's no man to stand for her. And we stand now because we are men and we are supposed to have authority. Our authority starts operating in families na muba nenso. Yeah. And so what happens is that if I died, people, my friends and the family, we will have power over my wife. Yeah. Nobody to ever not that bad, baby. These guys have got their own lives. Why should they wait for me to die for them to inherit? Yes. You know, it's me who's giving them the power. I need to tell my wife and say, my wife, I'm empowering you. I am the head here. And I'm a man having that. You have not put your foot down. Every man must put their foot down. Let your wife hear your voice. Let your wife know. You see, it's like a lion. A lion doesn't hunt. All it has is a voice. And when the animals come, the wives go to catch. Yeah. And that is how it should be. In a home, you are the man. Speak to your wife. Let your wife talk to your children. The time it is coming to you, it should be like high treason. Right. Now, many women, they talk to their children, and the man is never there. So, because he's never there, he doesn't know what is happening. he will start defending the son or the daughter. But if there's this situation where there's an update, because a man needs update from the wife, now that update shouldn't happen immediately you enter into the house. The update should be after you've given him food, give him that cup of coffee or juice, talk to him, find out how his day was, make sure he's eaten some of tumu mbarara or chuaya, and then as he's eating, you're like, how was your day? By the way, Junior has broken the glass, Papa ne Baba. Now some women, unge na chabe, Junior has broken the window. Zana, da, da, da. And when you do that, the man starts going back. It's like, why did I even come here? This is why we've got a lot of men, when they knock off at 17, but per computer, they are 17, they don't want to go home.
They want to go, don't
and
knock
then
off.
Even if you tell them, the security says, I think they will go to bar, and then they start chatting with the barman.
Yeah.
And if you start with the barman has stories, I'm telling you.
Yes.
He hears a lot of stories about men who are complaining about their wives. But yet it is the man who should say, my wife, this is wrong. When I come here, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. A man must put a wife in her place. A wife, I like saying this, is like water. If you put her in a Coca-Cola bottle, she'll fit. Water fits in a Coca-Cola bottle. If you put her in a cooking oil bottle, she'll fit. Because a woman has been put in the hands of man. She came out of me. She's literally my baby. Yeah. That's why we call them baby. And wherever you go, a woman, you call her baby. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. And she calls us daddy. Daddy.
I didn't even know what baby means. Now I know.
Yeah, that's where it's coming from. Because she came out of us.
Right.
She's our baby. My firstborn is a woman. Now, let me say this quickly. I know there's no time. What God did when he took the rib out of a man, he wants every man, he's given us a competition. You, me, every man watching us right now. Our role now is to go and find that rib. God has thrown these ribs in one big hole. And you need to go there, pick yours, which will fit here.
Yeah.
If it doesn't fit, throw it. Go pick your own. Now,
so in short, you're saying you can date somebody, and then if they don't fit you, throw them away, pick somebody else.
Yes. Because you see, and therefore, you need to be prayerful. A man in Genesis chapter 1 and 2 will not even date for more than 2 or 3 times. Because he's not dating anyhow. He is prayed, and he knows that my wife should be like this, like this, like this, like this. You see, before I married, I prayed. I want a woman, a humble woman, who doesn't talk too much, who will support my ministry. And I want her to give me 4 children. And I actually had the names even before I met her. I was in grade 10, yes. I named my children in grade 10 and grade 10, grade 11. I didn't date anyone. I knew what I wanted. And so when I started the church, we started going to church, I would call as a young pastor, just came out from college, and would have overnights. One particular woman would come. When it's time to sweep, she was there cleaning. And I would say, oh, thank God. The other time I found there was Fanta on my table. I drank it and I'm like, hey, but secretary, who bought the Fanta? Is it you? He said, no, one of our daughters is the one who's been buying Fanta. Oh, okay, thank God. When there's something wrong at church, she's always there to clean it. And then as time went on, I started praying. This lady was just in grade 10. And I was already a pastor. And one day she walked in church on a Saturday. Actually, it was a Saturday, but they were taught to put on uniforms when they are doing their studies. She came from school.
Yeah.
When she walked in church on a Saturday, I was preaching. I looked at her and I sensed the peace of saying, that is your wife.
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that. I waited from grade 10, grade 11, I never told her, up to grade 12. She came to Lusaka for some studies. She came back. Then one day I had a dream. I dreamt. People are bringing her to me. And that morning I met her and I told her, I said, you know what? For the past 4-5 years now, I've been keeping something and I need to tell you and I need to share with you. But the reason why I even had the guts to share with her is because in the church, she was the first one. Now, she was a daughter of a human resource manager. So she would leave the comfort of the town. It's like and she would come and sweep. And that was a sign enough for me to know that this is the woman I should marry.
Yeah.
Because there were some beautiful women. But they cannot touch a broom. They cannot even clean. They cannot even buy water for me.
Yeah.
But this woman was able to see. She understood me. If she's in the choir, she's singing and I minister, we could connect. And I knew that this is the woman. So in a nutshell, every man must know the bond that fits him.
Yeah.
Is she giving you BP? Is she giving you pressure? Is she becoming a nuisance? Then she's not your bone. Because as we are here as men, our bones are not paining.
Nope.
Our ribs are just intact. And they are taking care of the most delicate parts of our body.
Right.
You need to go out there, find the rib that will fit and take care of you as the most delicate person in the face of the earth. And that is one of the things that we are missing today. People are just marrying, akaona hipu, ni changa ichi. Akaona kala, ni changa ichi. But that is not what it's all about. She can have the hips, she can have the color, but is she fitting on the size? Because God nicely made the size. And you see, a rib is the only rib, the bone that is flexible.
Yeah.
So find that woman that will be flexible for you. If you tell her, I don't like my coffee without sugar, I like it with honey, she twists, she quickly changes and becomes what you want. But if you find a woman, every decision you have to fight. Every time you have to fight an opposition leader, then you will not go anywhere.
Bishop, I'd love to thank you so much.
Amen.
And send our regards to First Lady.
Yes, please. Thank
She's
you very
amazing.
much. Amen.
We'll definitely call you back on the show again.
It is my pleasure, and I'll be ready to be here.
Absolute honor to have you.
Yeah.
I've been talking to Bishop Colby from Hosanna Everyone Mega Church. He's been talking everything that's got to do, and I'm sure he's picked out one or two things out of this interview. This has been Charlie, right here on Titandala. You've been awesome, and until next time.